313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. And all right, we're live right here on the Talk Beat Jones again. I am Billy E. Jones. Dr. Watson, are you there?
I'm here, Billy. Good morning to you.
Okay, all right. So you see, we have Dr. Henry G. Watson on the line with us, the medical doctor. Of course, you can watch the Talk Beat Jones and the Health Beat show every Wednesday from 10 to 11, and also on a Sunday on 15.2. The time is from 4 to 5 p.m. And of course, you can watch the program live. I want you to say this live because you may need to text somebody, talk to somebody, however you communicate with them, and let them know that they want to go to the R.J. Watkins page, and you hit it, and you go up to where it says R.J. Watkins. You hit that, and you'll come to where you'll see, scroll down, you see the red and white RJ. That's the one that you want to hit. That will allow you to come on the program live or see the program live or tell your friends live as we are doing it right now. You can call in. The numbers are there. You can call in. You can talk to me. You can talk to Dr. Watson. You can pose a question or a scenario right here on the Talk Beat Jones. Remember, we're here every Wednesday from 10 to 11. You can also go to, Dr. Watson.
Yes, sir.
I forgot. I just got the information. I know we touched on it a little bit, but I just forgot as we telling people how they can watch the program, watch the station, etc. Guess what, Doc? All they got to do is wake up or close their eyes and say, Alexa, give me WHPR.
And that'll come up
worldwide, Doc. Worldwide. I'm gonna listen to the commercial to make sure that I'm saying it correctly. But family around the world, not only do you have the Roku box that goes around the world in every country and every whatever else, we're there. Now we're with Alexa. We're there. You got some advertising that you need to do. You got a business, you got a product, you got a service, you got something that you want the folks to understand what it's about. You want to call me, 313-412-3111. You folks out there getting ready to talk about this government situation, talk about this advertising for politics. You want to bring it here. I've got a surprise for you in the political world. It's going to rock your socks. That's right, rock your socks and drop you down if you're not listening to me correctly, so that everybody is going to have an opportunity to come on and talk about it. There are rules and regulations. We'll have to talk to the general manager about how to do it exactly. But we're ready to jump into this and give you the opportunity to talk about your political future and what you think that you can do. But there are rules and regulations, and I'll get those and I'll let you know, because remember, we're not going to be on the outside of this political field. No, we're going to tell you the inside gap about the politics and who's running and who's faking right here on the Talk Beat Jones. Hey, Doc.
Yes, sir, Billy.
You talk politics sometimes, don't you?
I sure do. And today I was going to talk about something, and one of them, as it relates to health care, is the one big, beautiful bill.
Oh, my goodness.
You've heard me talk about this many times, and I think that people really, really, really need to be aware of what's happening. You know, in California, on June 2nd, we have our primary votes. Second. On June 1st, the big, beautiful bill is going to kick in California.
Now, what is the big, beautiful bill as you go through, for those who don't know?
I'm going to tell you what it is. Well, first of all, our present political system really did not like President Obama. And our present political system tried to do everything they could to get rid of Obamacare. And they tried to, the first time that they were president, they tried to get rid of it right away, but they did not have a replacement. So nobody voted on removing Obamacare, so to speak. At this point in time, attempts are being made to dismantle it, partly through this one big, beautiful bill. Now, in California, on June 1st, every able-bodied individual who can walk and is not completely disabled will have to work 80 hours a month to keep their food stamps. Now, if they do not work 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month, they're going to lose their food stamps. And food, because of the war and our present political situation, is very expensive right now. So that's the first thing that's going to come in. Right about January of 2027, our present political situation is going to change in that if you have Medicaid, if you are on welfare or you're disabled and you have Medicaid, you're going to have to reapply every 6 months. Every 6 months. I talked to a social worker in California, and I said, now how are people, they can't even get into the social services office, how are they going to apply every 6 months? And many people will have to have a doctor sign off saying that they're disabled, they can't work, but they're going to have to work 80 hours a month, and they're going to have to reapply every 6 months. Well, now, what does that mean in California? That means that about 1.8 million people are going to lose their health insurance. They're going to lose it, and they don't have anything to back it up. They don't have any programs to back it up. And that's why you've seen our government go on strike. We wondered, okay, what is this strike about? Well, many of them, particularly the Democrats, were trying to make sure that the big, beautiful bill did not go through. If you were a woman, and let's say you wanted to have an abortion, or you wanted to take the day after pill, and you went to Planned Parenthood, the government would not pay for it. So that's going to be another issue. Hospitals are going to lose a whole lot of money because there's going to be all these uninsured people coming in to the hospital.
What about? I know we talked about the women, but what about the men and our issues? What about? We talk about the women issues consistently, etc. But what about the men and our issues as well? And how alarming is this for the typical person who's on Medicare?
Well, that's a good question. Before the Affordable Health Care Act, or Obamacare, before that was enacted, women could get Medicaid. But a man could not get Medicaid unless they were disabled. And when the reason the women could get it is because they had babies, they had children that they had to pay for. But they didn't. The father didn't get the Medicaid, and in California we call that Medi-Cal.
Can you help us in the worldwide audience who are kind of unfamiliar with all the things that happen in America? Can you give us, and you can continue with what you're doing, but can you give us a differential in terms of the Medicaid, Medicare care package?
Yes. Typically, Medicaid in California, called Medi-Cal, is for low-income individuals. Low-income individuals. Sometimes people with a disability can also get Medicaid or Medi-Cal in California. Now, the Medicare is for people over the age of 65. Over the age of 65, and it breaks down into other pockets of Medicare. For instance, you have Medicare A, Medicare B. So one of them covers the doctor. The other one covers the clinic or the hospital. Then you have a Medicare C, which is managed Medicare. So, for instance, some of the private insurances will take over your Medicare, and they call it Medicare C, or it'll be a managed Medicare. So an example of that would be Kaiser or United Health. They can take over your Medicare. And then there's Medicare D, and that's supposed to cover your medication cost. And it's a very complex process. I'm telling you, I have
a quick question. A quick question in that. Those A's, etc., that you just announced, would other states have those similarities, just be maybe titled a little bit differently? Because what we're looking at is that I found that Medicare, Medicaid, a person that's applying for Medicaid, they also have a income restriction in terms of if Medicaid will take care of them.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying, is that a low income, you have to have low income to get Medicaid.
Well, what I'm trying to be clear is that if you are receiving income on a monthly basis, retirement, Social Security, etc., if it amounts to a certain amount of dollars, you will not qualify for Medicaid.
That's correct. It has to be, and in each state, they probably have a different amount that relates to. Now, and I'm glad you brought that up, because typically, let's say you're over 65 and you're low income, the Medicare, which is the one for over 65, will pay 80% of your health care situation, and the Medicaid will pay 20%. So you see that a lot of seniors have Medicare and Medicaid because they don't have, all they have is their Social Security income. So some people have both Medicare and Medicaid, particularly the seniors. Now, what we're going to see...
Mr. Tyler just walked in and almost hit me behind my head.
Look out.
Talking about
what we're going to see...
He's talking about Medicaid this.
Yeah. What we're going to see is that even immigrants, some immigrants to the United States are going to lose both their Medicare and Medicaid. And you see that our government right now is making people who have green cards and aren't full citizens, our present government is sending them back to their country of origin.
Wow.
They can't even stay here, so they got to go back. And so people are trying to fight all that. And so we really need to keep your eyes open about particularly Medicaid. On June 1st, people are going to lose their food stamps if they don't show that they're going to work 80 hours. And by January, 80 hours a month. And by January, they're going to start making you apply for Medicaid every 6 months. Now, I asked social services,
Ms. Tyler, y'all need to be quiet.
How are people going to be able to apply every 6 months? And they said, they're going to go online. They have to go online. Now, you and I know it's difficult enough to just use our cell phones, right? And try to navigate Facebook and try to navigate the internet. How is a poor person going to be able to go online and fill out a full application every 6 months, and then also show their medical records that might say that they're disabled?
Yes.
So a lot of people, just as a result of that hurdle, which that hurdle is being placed there on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
are going to lose their insurance. Here's another interesting piece as you talk about the politics of it. Our president made the vice president, Vance, the czar over Medicaid. The czar over Medicaid.
So what is that? So what is it by him making him the czar over Medicaid? The department is still going to operate. So what would he actually be doing, sir?
He's going to go around and let's say that somebody allows a person to have their Medi-Cal past the 6-month mark without reapplying.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, Alameda County, which is out here in California, does not take away the Medicaid on a particular person or a particular group of people. Well, the rule is that you're supposed to cut them off. If you don't cut them off, the czar will indict you and sue the county.
Now, when you say indict you, you're speaking of the company or the doctors and the hospital that's actually providing this service beyond the time period. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Without them reapplying, so it might be social services that they sue and indict and charge as not being compliant with the big beautiful bill or HR 1. So that's like a threat. You know, he's threatening people to say, not only are we going to make these cuts, but we're going to audit you. And if we find that you're not compliant with cutting people off, we're going to charge you with fraud. So that's the latest.
So they're taking the judgment from the doctors in terms of if that person needs this extra period for their life-saving care. And they're saying under no circumstances are you to go past this guideline.
Correct.
Wow.
And again, this is why there were the strikes in the government. They're trying to fight all of this, but you see that our present administration is just doing whatever they want to do, and we're moonwalking. We're going backwards in time at this point in time, related to a lot of things, and it's really sad and it's really scary. And hospitals are preparing to lose a whole lot of money, and doctors and nurses are. Some of the nurses in California are striking because they see that this is coming up. They also are cutting out financial aid for people who want to go to nursing school. They're cutting that out.
Yes.
And
Doc, take a moment, because it's not just a nursing school that they are no longer honoring those degrees, but financing for those various degrees. Would you hit on some of the degrees that folks was taking to get into the medical field that are no longer going to be supported by getting grants or getting loans to support you while you're going through the educational process, please?
Yes, so you have the registered nurse program. Typically, that's a nurse when you go in the hospital. That's the nurse that would work on your IV and give you a shot. They're going to cut the financial aid for those. Then you'll have licensed vocational nurses. Those are the nurses you usually see in a nursing home. Mm-hmm. They've already cut back money for the Center for Disease Control, and some of those funds were to help medical school applicants. You already know that they have cut back dollars for many, many colleges, including Harvard and a lot of other colleges, and that will cut back on their ability to have their medical school education. Certainly, they have done everything they could to cut back on any kind of minority admissions programs.
Wow.
So
Well, let's take a moment and break that word down. When you say for minority admissions programs, go back into the 60s, 70s. Explain what that was about, please. Why was that in place?
Okay, that's an excellent question. When I was leaving high school,
Dr. Henry G. Watson, MD.
In 1974, they had a program in California called the Equal Opportunity Program. So let's say that in California, the demographics were 12% black. Well, many people like Martin Luther King and Thurgood Marshall, who eventually became on the Supreme Court, said, well, if there are 12% blacks in the state, then there should be 12% blacks in the colleges and the medical schools.
Yes.
So the equal opportunity programs developed such that they try to equal the playing field, so to speak.
Okay.
So let's say that 12% of the applicants, maybe some of them didn't have a A average or a 4.0 average, but they exhibited promise to the community and they had other factors. They might let them in with a lower grade point average, and they might give them financial aid.
Okay.
Now, and here's the trickle-down effect on that. There was a time where when my father went to college and medical school, he could not go to University of Virginia.
Now, Dr. Watson, now we are speaking to you as a black man, correct?
Correct.
For those who don't know, that Dr. H. Jeffrey Watson, medical doctor, is a black male doctor. Go ahead, doctor.
Right. So when my father was trying to go to medical school, he could not go to a lot of the white medical schools. He couldn't go to Columbia. He couldn't go to University of Virginia. He had to go to a black school. So he went to Howard University School of Medicine.
Yes.
Many blacks went to Meharry Medical College in Tennessee. Howard is in Washington,
Now,
D.C.
we heard of Howard, but we did not hear about the other college that you just spoke of.
Yeah, Meharry Medical School is in Nashville, Tennessee, and it is in the same town where I went to medical school. It's in Nashville. I went to Vanderbilt University, which was a white medical school.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
Doc, what we're going to do is we're going to pick up right here medical schools when we come back after the commercial breaks, if that's okay with you, sir.
That is fine with me.
Okay,
Mr.
family,
Billy Jones.
you're watching the Talk Beat Jones show, of course, with the co-host, Dr. Henry G. Watson, MD, Health Beat. We're on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m., also on Sundays on 15.2 from 4 to 5. You can simply do this. Alexa, what's that guy's name? No, you got to say, Alexa, take me to WHPR Talk Beat Jones show. Don't forget also, we're on the Roku, worldwide streaming, as well as the other streaming devices. And, of course, YouTube, TV33 on demand. Family, every Wednesday right here from 10 to 11, Talk Beat Jones, Health Beat Dr. Jeffrey Watson. We'll be back shortly after these commercial announcements.
You don't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones. And
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Billy E. Jones, Talk Beat Jones. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WHPR TV 33 Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
If you enjoy the music, the talk, and the vibe right here on WHPR, we need your support. Help us keep independent radio alive by sending a Cash App donation of whatever you can to $WHPR TV Radio. Every dollar makes a difference. That's $WHPR TV Radio. Support the station that supports you.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Hey, Michigan, let's think beyond the sink and learn where the water your family drinks every day comes from. Private wells and public water supplies allow homes across Michigan to draw water from different sources, like lakes, rivers, and groundwater. Tap into the facts about your home's water source and learn about your home's water quality to protect your family's health. Visit michigan.gov/care for MI drinking water. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. If you're behind on your property taxes, we have programs to help. You don't have to lose your house, and you don't have to pay all at once. This summer, our mobile unit will be visiting Wayne County communities to help make it easier to start a payment plan and keep your property. Go online or call to find the plan that's right for you and where you can get help from our mobile unit. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to foreclosure. Make your payments every month and keep your property.
313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and
All right, this is Talk Beat Jones once again. I am Billy Jones. Gotta stop. Got an emergency breaking news. Last week, our magnificent, great one, doing the engineering, Mr. Timmy Tim, had a birthday. That's right. Timmy Tim had his birthday last week. And for those who didn't know, you still got chance and still got time to go to his page and wish Timmy Tim a happy late belated birthday. Okay? Y'all don't know what the man goes through doing his job, doing his life, and doing everything. But he's been a right there for me person, and I love him. Don't forget also, family, that we're asking you to go to the Cash App, put in that $sign at WHPR TV Radio. Put a few dollars there. Of course, on the side of that, or however you do it, note that it's in response to that Talk Beat Jones, Dr. Henry G. Watson as well. And Dr. Watson, you're back on the Talk Beat Health Beat show, and we love you. We appreciate you. And would you pick up? We were talking about the schools that black folks did not have an opportunity and had to attend. Please, sir.
Yeah, we're talking about a process that has evolved over the years, and I said early on in the conversation, it seems like we're starting to go backwards. So there was a time in which African Americans, blacks, Negroes could not go to the white school, like my father could not go to the white school. So for medical school, there was Howard University in Washington, D.C., and Meharry School of Medicine in Nashville, Tennessee, that the blacks could go to. Those schools still exist. There's another African-American related school called Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King School of Medicine is associated with UCLA in Los Angeles. But when I was in college, 1974, there was a program called the Equal Opportunity Program, which was an affirmative action program to try to balance the playing field for minorities. And they tried to equal the playing field by considering the percentage of African Americans in a particular state, and then making sure that the class had those percentages, because just like in any other situation like housing or banking, a lot of times there's racism in the healthcare system, and white doctors might not want to take care of black people. So black doctors were to take care of black people.
When you said that, please do not forget where you are. I got to throw this little caveat in there. The doctor that created the fact that we have blood transfusions, the white folks refused to take care of. Doc, you tell the story, please.
Yeah, that's Dr. Charles Drew, and the Martin Luther King School of Medicine actually has a Charles Drew name to it. Charles Drew was a doctor. He was actually my father's teacher.
Okay.
At Howard University. He went to medical school in Canada, as a matter of fact. Came back to the United States and developed a process for blood banking. So when you go to the blood bank and they take your blood and put it in a bag and freeze it and all that, he developed that process.
Wow.
And he was nominated for the Nobel Prize. And as history goes, he was in the South, got into a motor vehicle accident, and went to a white hospital, and they would not treat him, and he died as a result of that.
So with all of his brilliance, with all of his contributions to the life-saving methods to all of the other folks, black, whites, Chinese, whomever they may have been, this man was denied his own procedure to save his life because he was a black man.
That's right, and I'll tell you, Billy, sometimes if I know a colleague, a family friend, or somebody else, it doesn't matter who they are, if somebody asks me to go to the hospital to check on them,
yes, sir.
I have gone to the hospital to let the staff know who this person is and the importance of this person.
Yes.
For instance, the great Burl Toller, I don't know if you know, he was the first black NFL official.
Come on, now wait, Doc. Now don't do me like that on National Wide TV. Now you know who I know who he is. Come on now.
Okay. He's from San
But
Francisco.
you may need to tell other folks. But I'm an athlete. You know, I know
Okay.
I know where my history has been about.
He was very sick and in the intensive care, and of course the nurses and the staff were treating him just like another black man. And I asked the nurses, I said, "Do you know who this is?" And they said, "Let me look at his chart here. That's Mr. Toller." And I said, "This man is in the Hall of Fame.
Come on now.
This man was the first black official in the National Football League. This man was the first black to officiate the Super Bowl in the National Football League."
Come
and
on.
I said, "Oh, I didn't know that." But sometimes you have to let people know, and this goes all the way back to Charles Drew. They didn't know who he was.
Yes.
And you're supposed to treat everybody equally anyway. But on the situation that we're talking about, Billy, in the Equal Opportunity Program in California, they did a trickery, and they put out a bill called Proposition 209. Proposition 209. And 209 was, if you voted yes on it, it got rid of the Equal Opportunity Program or affirmative action. So what they did is they put tapes of Martin Luther King saying that we should all be equal, and then they spliced it and cut it, and they said, "So vote yes on 209," and they confused people. And so if you voted yes, the idea of us being equal, being that we're not going to give any extra consideration to minorities. Well, Proposition 209.1, this black man by the name of Ward Connolly made all the black people think that they were voting to keep affirmative action, but the result was 209 ended affirmative action at the University of California, UCLA, UC Berkeley. It got rid of that in the state of California. Now you see another thing in our present administration that they voted, that our president, one of the first things that he did is sign a bill to get rid of DEI.
Wait, Dr.
Diversity.
Henry G. Watson, MD, who got rid of this that you're speaking of?
Our current president,
Okay,
Trump.
okay.
That was one of the first things he signed in when he became president, is to get rid, and particularly he started out with all the governmental agencies, to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So whereas you had people who worked in the flight industry, you had people that worked for the CDC, the people that worked for the World Health Organization, the people that worked for any governmental, the post office, and governmental agencies, they had to get rid of any policy that gave consideration to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now that's 2025. You see how the whole thing has rolled backwards.
But I have a question, Doc, for those who are out there listening from other countries who may not understand. Why was it that those issues or those notations were put into the working situation in the first place? I mean, why is it that everybody that applied for a job was not treated equal? Can you give us some background in terms of how that was dealt with?
It was a process called racism.
Racism.
Racism. There was redlining in housing. You couldn't live in certain neighborhoods because there was an unwritten rule that you couldn't live in certain neighborhoods. When I was in Nashville, Tennessee, I went to rent an apartment. This was in 1976. And the man, it said, apartment for rent. And I rang the doorbell. The man came to the door and he said, "Oh, we don't rent to coloreds. we don't rent to coloreds." And I said, "But that's against the Fair Housing Act." He said, "But we don't rent to coloreds."
Mm-hmm.
So there were laws that came up in housing, in business, in healthcare to equal the playing field. can you, even in the Constitution, it says if you go to court, you will have a jury of your peers. And there's a thing called unconscious bias. So if you were a black man to go to court and the jury was all white, unconsciously, even though they might say they're not racist, unconsciously they would just think that the black man was guilty. So Martin Luther King and again Thurgood Marshall, they made sure that schools were integrated, that the business world was integrated with people who were qualified and equal out the demographics of the community.
Okay.
So that was the whole reason. But you see, right now, the things are going backwards. Immigrants are being pushed out. DEI is being removed. Affirmative action, Proposition 209. Everything is going backwards to eliminate the minorities from having an equal playing field.
So where we are going is that the big aura, and that's with a aura, that we're headed back because now racism is giving the feet to stand up and say, I'm a racist, this is a racist policy, but it's legal now.
Yes, and we see that our current administration is going to give $1.8 billion to the people who rioted on January 6th, which most of them, if not all, were Caucasian. But he would not give any funding for reparations for those that were damaged over the years. And we helped build this country. So that's a when I was applying to medical school, I had to have an interview, and it happened that the doctor that I had an interview with was a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And he said, have you ever been to the South? And I said, no. He said, there's racism in the South. And I said, yes, I do know that. And he said, how are you going to deal with that? And I said, that's a sickness. That's a sickness just like other illnesses. And I'll try to help people to heal from that sickness. So that's the truth. As we talk about health care and we talk about the one big beautiful bill, and they're trying to get rid of health insurance for minorities and do everything they can to take all the history out of the libraries for the great things that African Americans have done.
And Doc, that you spoke on, back in the day when I was attempting to, quote, be in this area called professional football player, the World Football League had started up a couple of years. And I had broken my ankle, and I thought this would be my gateway to potentially get into the NFL. So I had signed a contract with a team that was located in Texas. I'm thinking, okay, I go there and I get that side job, not necessarily the football job. I could be a utility player, whatever, and get a job. The team moved from Texas to Memphis, Tennessee. When I was notified that it was going to Memphis, I hung my cleats up. I was not going to Memphis, okay? With my attitude, my California attitude, I knew I would not last.
Well, that's where Martin Luther King was shot.
Thank you.
In the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, it's like I was not going to be a part of history. No. So, I mean, you're speaking on where we can get testimonials on the things that you're speaking of, Dr. Henry G. Watson, MD, because, like I said, you take care of not only the body, but you also take care of the mental capacities that we have in our minds. You also dealt with and has dealt with many of the celebrities in the world, the young man that was with what's that? They got the three names together. Dwayne.
Which one's the boxers?
No, well, the boxers.
Oh, Tony.
Tony, Dwayne.
Yeah,
And
Dwayne,
also,
I took care of Dwayne.
I was also going through some material, and I noticed that you and I have a certain lady that's in our own personal mix together, and that's
Miss Lunell.
That's Lunell. That's Lunell.
Yeah.
People may not know that, that I was the off-camera person with Lunell back at Soul Beat days. In fact, Lunell came in after I had started the Talk Beat Jones show, Talk Beat morning show. But you took care of Lunell, and you took care of the professional boxers. What was it like to have people who were, quote, stars, who were ill in their own different ways, that you had to see them along with their travel schedules, etc.? And were they difficult clients in trying to do medical, what they should do and what they were doing because they wanted to continue to perform?
Well, that always was a challenge. That was always a challenge. Again, I try to treat everybody equally. So the poor person, which at one time when I was treating Lunell, she was poor.
Yes.
And so you try to treat everybody equally. You try to get those who are poor, if they needed a CT scan. Back in the day, somebody might say, well, you're poor, I can't do the CT scan on you.
Yes.
But if they needed, whatever they needed, I tried to get it for them.
That's right.
The rich people, the poor people, if I had to go over their house or whatever,
That's
I tried to do those kinds of things. So
we had you get out of bed at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because this Simple Simon person, Billy Jones, had a cut that required 60 stitches that he didn't know, that he was just going to put some tape over it, and it took Mr. The owner of Soulby Television to call Chuck, and to call you, and you let him know that I am to be at your office. You're getting out of bed, but I am to be at your office for you to see me at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And you did that, did them 6 stitches that I was scared to death of. You talked to me, talking about what it was going to be like, etc. And before it was all said and done, you had done it.
You got to calm people down.
Yes.
You got to calm people down. But that's what it's like, as an internal medicine doctor. I always say that I have taken care of people from their nose to their toes.
Yes, sir.
And behind their nose is their brain, right? So
yes, sir.
The psychological things that we're talking about. There was something I wanted to mention, Billy, that a lot of people don't know about, and it's the fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease. Over 25% of the people in the United States have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and 90% of them don't even know it. It's asymptomatic, and it can cause what they call cirrhosis, scarring of the liver. It's the number one cause of liver transplants in women, and it is moving up to become the number one cause of transplants in men by 2030. It's non-alcoholic liver disease. We know that drinking a lot of alcohol can give you cirrhosis, but people who are overweight, who have diabetes, who have high cholesterol, have a family history of fatty liver disease, have a low thyroid, people over the age of 50, people with high blood pressure, and people of Mexican descent are at risk of this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is in 25% of people in the United States.
We never hear about this particular disease you're speaking of, Doc. Dr. Watson?
There's a doctor in Oakland by the name of Dr. Ralph Peterson, who is one of the world's specialists on fatty liver disease. And, you know, when people have stomach aches sometime, they might go to the doctor, and the doctor do an ultrasound. They put a little thing on their abdomen, ultrasound, and by God, look, your liver is fatty. So they started seeing all this fat in the liver.
Right.
And they say, do you drink a lot of alcohol? No, I don't. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. So some people who didn't address it, it progressed to their liver going bad, and they had to get a liver transplant. And you're correct, Billy. You don't hear a lot about it.
Yes.
You don't hear a lot about it at all.
Yes.
And so Dr. Ralph Peterson in Oakland, California, he's a gastroenterologist.
Okay.
And I'm going to be opening an office in his office.
Okay.
Doing primary care, and we'll also be testing people for fatty liver. So you might want to ask your doctor to do an ultrasound test on your abdomen to see if you have fatty liver. There's also a blood test called FibroScore blood test. FibroScore, FibroScore blood test. And that can tell if you have a fatty liver. So these things are really important for people to know about, particularly at a time when they're going to be trying to make people lose their insurance, and doctors aren't going to get paid, and nurses aren't going to get paid, and they're getting burnt out. So it's a tough thing that we're looking at. So exercise, low-fat diet, those are important things, and there are some new medicines that are intravenous that are going to come out to treat this fatty liver disease.
But Doc, what is it, and what is the rationale reasoning behind this fatty liver situation for people who think that, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I eat proper? Are they also candidates for the same type of fatty liver situation?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's non-alcoholic. They used to call it NASH, non-alcoholic steatosis. And that means fatty liver. And so it's just like a lot of people don't know they have high blood pressure until somebody checks it.
Ooh.
And you know, they call that a silent killer, yes. And this fatty liver disease can be a silent killer. Particularly if you don't even know that you have it. So it's important that people talk to their doctor about this, and they can get an ultrasound of the abdomen, or they could get a FibroScore blood test. And the people that should be really considered looking at this as a possible disease that they might have are those that are overweight, those that are diabetic,
yes,
those that have high cholesterol,
yes,
those that are over the age of 50, those that have a thyroid disorder or a family history of these kinds of things. So
I got a curveball for you, Doc.
Okay.
Don't even know if you know about this one. Kyle Busch, the race car driver. Just won a race 1 week ago on all that intense pressure, and they saying that he died of a flu septic condition. Flu septic?
Influenza.
This person.
They said he had pneumonia.
Yeah, but this person, you know, you would with the type of intensity of his career and the type of intensity health-wise, you know he's being tested. You know he's going under medical care. How could less than a week? So he had this going into he had to have had this situation of symptoms going into the race the week before for it to kill him this quickly. I mean, that's what us out here who don't have no sense, no understanding about how this works. But a person who's a champion one week and dead the following week.
Yeah, that's, I have a personal feeling about that, and people that die quickly like that is possibly a blood clot got involved. So now he spends all his time sitting down in the race car. His legs aren't moving around that much. And people who fly on the airplane a lot, who don't move a lot, they get blood clots in their legs. And you imagine that car is vibrating, and the blood clot could have broke loose. They said he coughed up blood. And that's a symptom of what they call pulmonary embolus. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just
we're just having a barbershop conversation.
Yeah, barbershop. So, listen. Here's the thing. We talked about a lot of challenges, but people can take care of their own health by the 8 healthy guidelines.
Okay.
The number 1 would be prayer and meditation. That's going to help your mind. It's going to help that racism that we talked about, how to deal with it. Number 2 would be read and gain knowledge. Read about the One Big Beautiful Bill, the H.R. 1. Number 3, eat to live. Don't just live to eat, so low fat so you don't get the fatty liver. Number 4 is exercise regularly, at least 30 minutes, 4 times a week. That'll help with the fatty liver. Rid yourself of addictions, the alcohol, the smoking, the drugs, all those kinds of things. Number 6, get enough sleep. 8 hours if you could. Number 7, commune with nature. We're about to have summertime. Get out, look at the trees, the photosynthesis, and breathe that fresh air. And then number 8, get your regular checkups. Go to the doctor before it's too late. Get an ultrasound, get your prostate checked, get a mammogram, get your colon checked, get a PSA test, get your sugar checked, cholesterol checked. All those things, the 8 healthy guidelines of living. So there is a chance for us to keep on going despite all the political challenges we're having.
All right. Well, Doc, right about now, take about a minute, say goodbye. Until next time, to your family, please.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to be here. And you know that your health is your wealth. And if you knew better, you could do better. And that's what we're trying to help you do. Feel free to call into the show sometime. If you have questions about any of these things, like I just talked about the fatty liver, if you have questions about what to do with this One Big Beautiful Bill, call your Social Security office to get some guidance, because there's going to be some real changes, and we don't want you to be caught off guard.
All right, Doc.
As I said,
all right.
If you knew better, you could do better.
You know that. We appreciate you, and we love you, Doc. And family, real quickly, this is the Talk Beat Jones, along with, of course, Dr. Watson and the Health Beat. Don't forget, we're on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11. Also on a Sunday on 105.2 from 4 to 5. You, of course, can do this. Alexa, I want to see that WHPR, that Talk Beat Jones show on Wednesdays. Let them know. And also don't forget about that Cash App. Do the $, WHPR, TV, radio. Let them know Talk Beat Jones. Of course, Dr. Watson, we love you, we appreciate you, respect you, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to tell your friends that you love us, you appreciate us, and to tune in to us. Share us. Bye now.
.313watkins.com. Streaming on Roku.